Hi guys, Martin Curry from Belief Media. Domenico, how are you?
Fantastic, thank you.
Excellent. This video is being made available in our email marketing sequence, which is sent to those that subscribe to our finance marketing guide. Now, the standard subscription for our finance marketing guide, for many of you, you would have clicked on a link in an email because you're already subscribed to one of our lists. For others, you would have subscribed via our website. The Finance Marketing Guide is made available on the front page of the website, and we always say, and I'm going to say it again, every single page on your website is an organic entry point, an organic entry page. Therefore, every single page on your website must provide some sort of conversion opportunity. That's because every single page on your website is a type of landing page. Therefore, every single page on your website needs to provide some sort of conversion opportunity. A few days ago, we would have sent you some details on SEO and how to generate organic traffic and how to improve upon the conversions of that traffic to your website as it stands now. So converting the existing traffic. Your website can and should be a lead generating machine. The problem there obviously is that very few people have the mechanisms in place to facilitate that conversion, transaction, phone call, or whatever it is you're looking to achieve. And the reason our guys do very, very well, there's a number of reasons. We'll discuss a few of them now, but one of them is obviously the opportunity to have them ingested into your marketing funnel or have them call you directly from your website. It's made available.
Yeah, and because it's easy to do, it encourages people to actually make every page a potential landing panel where people can subscribe and join the autoresponders.
The landing panel just being a combination of it's a two-column setup. One side is a subscription form and the other side is a picture of your lead magnet or a video or something similar. So something to describe the reason why you should be subscribing. There are standard subscription forms as well, but the way the subscription forms are created in our system is you can have images above the subscription form. They become single column subscription forms essentially. Ideal for underneath articles, blog posts, things like that, and in sidebars. There are a whole bunch of occasions where you would use a single column subscription form, but you can have the images and all sorts of stuff. There's no limit to the kind of styling you can apply to any of the forms. And of course, the reason we provide you with a website, there's a lot of reasons we provide you with a website, but one of them is we do simplify the process of adding the subscription forms to your website. It's literally a drag and drop exercise. So once they're created, you have them available on your website. In the Elementor page plugin, there's a Belief Media section there. It's an add-on to the plugin that we've created, and you just drag your landing page or landing panel, being those two elements, directly into your page, and it just renders immediately. There's no code to copy and paste or anything like that. So you drag and drop, and then it automatically integrates with the platform. All the automation automatically applies. Everything is just handled automatically. The process is so ridiculously simple. Now, where were we?
We're going to talk about the conditional aspect of it. So we've spoken about the website, how important the website is in the previous videos. And we also spoke about, in the last one, about the website being very central. And one of the things we touched upon was the landing page. How the landing page can actually, will go to 3 different pages depending on what interactions the people have with the landing page. So you got your lead magnet. You got your little comment there where we ask if people want to provide a phone number or a subscription, and based on what option they take, there's a tick box there for a calendar booking, and depending on what flow it is or what process or what they pick, the second page becomes adaptable to that.
Yeah, in one of our first podcasts, guys, we made, it was called Hello World. Perhaps it was a closer look where we talked about on your landing pages, you never want to ask something of somebody that isn't absolutely necessary. So we say, don't ask for a last name. Don't ask for necessarily what they're interested in, whether it's first home buyers or whatever else. That can be resolved based on the type of page they're visiting. We assign an interest type to the page, so we know what they're interested in, or the download itself. We know what they're interested in. We don't need to ask the state that they're in because we automatically resolve that. So all we want is a first name and an email. Having said that, and I went through this in that Hello World podcast, having said over and over and over and over again that we never ever put a calendar booking on the front page of a website. We sort of wound back the clock a touch and said, well, we do put a calendar booking on the front page of a website, not the front page of a website, on a landing page, but it's a checkbox. You check the checkbox and the calendar. 2 fields pop down. I think it's 2 fields. Could be a third, which is if we're asking the phone number option can be above the fold, so above the checkbox, or within the checkbox container. That's an option that you choose when you create the form. In a minimalistic sense, you can just ask for name, email, and nothing else. And that's something that is often applied. That is more than suitable. But a lot of people come to your landing page and they couldn't give a crap about your lead magnet or your webinar or anything else. They just want to talk to you. Your advertising, your website presence, your expertise, your authoritativeness, and was sufficient within that short excursion they might have had throughout your process. And they've established the trust necessary. That's the EAT, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. It underpins every kind of online transaction. But you've established that, so they just want to contact you. And you need to provide a facility for that to happen. Now, because we have the only integrated digital marketing solution and media platform available in the industry, the calendar booking is 100% integrated with your website. It's not some silly, ridiculous third-party, often non-compliant plugin. It is integrated with your website. So someone selects one of 2 fields, or 2 of 2 fields, really. If they first select a date, and that populates a range of times that are available. That is obviously pulled in from your Outlook calendar availability, and will also require a phone number there. A booking is of no use if we don't have a means to contact that individual.
And you also got the option of ASAP.
The first option in the calendar booking is just earliest convenience. And that text is customizable by the user via the platform. So if they select at earliest convenience, which is the default option, by the way, that turns into a phone appointment. It's not a calendar booking, it's a phone appointment. So now we've got one of 3, or not one of, but we've got 3 potential interactions that can take place in terms of subscribers, because there is always the bounce. So it's a calendar booking, a phone booking, or an email subscriber. And we've said over and over again, it's detailed in our marketing manual, you do not want to waste that second page. That second page, that thank you page, is God's gift to marketers. It really is, because it allows us, remembering that the entire marketing funnel experience is designed or predicated upon escalation of commitment. Right? We want to feed people through into an appropriate journey. Want to give them a real excursion. Right? So why would we send them to the same second page? Why would you send an email subscriber to the same page with the same video as a calendar booking? They're vastly different in terms of the commitment they've made to you and your business. They are diametrically opposed.
Even the message you're going to give them, just a thank you. You're not going to have a generic thank you, at least for the calendar. You can talk about it. Thank you for the appointment. You can actually tell them what to expect. When people will call them, and what the process will be at that point. So you can provide a lot of information for that action.
That's right. Now, we obviously implement this ourselves. It's actually not as important for us as it is for mortgage brokers. We built this system. It's a proprietary system. You won't see this anywhere else. You just will not see it anywhere else, despite the fact when we built this like years ago, out of the box, overnight, it returned 37% more conversions. Overnight, right? And we've improved upon it since then in significant ways. The way we manage our systems now is vastly different to what we had in place, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So we estimate that it increases conversions by 2 to 3 times. right? Because it sets people on an appropriate journey and treats them with the appropriate respect based on the type of commitment they've made to you at that really, really early stage. For mortgage brokers, if somebody makes a calendar booking, we like to send them to a page that further escalates them in a very non-persuasive way. It's a very subtle suggestion, and that is they complete that Venus report. And it's an option. We've sent you an email. It includes a link to a Venus report. It is designed just to get you thinking about your finances, and it does tend to cover some of the questions that we go over during our initial discussion. So it will prepare you for that phone call. And I do like that for the phone booking and the calendar booking. I do like the video to prepare people for what might be necessary in the phone call. It's very intrusive. The nature of the questions that brokers are required to ask potential mortgage candidates it can be very intrusive, and it can take people a little bit by surprise. How much do you make? How much? How much did you make last year? What sort of tax do you pay? What are your expenses? All those sorts of questions. People do expect that of a mortgage advisor. They expect to have to surrender that information, but you have to build towards it. In a way that makes the information flow from them to you, rather than having to pull teeth.
And it's always easier after you've spoken to someone to then provide that information, rather than you've come to a website and you've asked to provide personal information straight out and you haven't even spoken to a person. So there is a large difference in the willingness to provide the information.
So that video that you provide people on the basis of that early interaction can assist with that journey, and it does assist with that journey. Right? We know scientifically, we look at the tens of thousands of conversions that take place through our platform and previous platform, and we can see really, really clearly what's happening. The data does not lie. Did you just hear that beep?
Yep.
What was that?
That's okay, that was the phone. Yeah, not the computer this time.
Okay, so we're going to pop that up on the screen, actually. We've recorded 3 videos for email, phone, and calendar, so I'm going to blur us out right now and just give you a visual appreciation of what it is that we are doing. So somebody comes in here on a landing page, and they can take one of 3 options. That is, they can make a calendar booking, they can provide just a phone number. In some cases, you won't have the calendar option. It'll just be optional phone number. Yes, please call me, that kind of thing. Or they can make that calendar booking. So the 3 options there, and basically we'll redirect them to different pages based on that interaction. And there are 3 pages listed there. Despite the fact those videos look the same, they are in fact different. We just recorded them one after the other. They go for anywhere between 5 and I think 6.5 minutes. They're really, really short, and the purpose of our videos there are they explain what that video is for. So they explain the conditional redirect. If it's a phone booking, we explain the reason you're seeing this video is because you have provided your phone number, you haven't made a booking, and so on. So it's, again, our approach to the marketing funnel is a little bit different because we're sort of pulling the marketing funnel apart and detailing exactly what it is we're trying to do and trying to achieve. And obviously you can apply that information in your own business. The conditional redirects would be really difficult to do, I think, without our platform, because it is proprietary. A lot of people have tried to copy us. I don't know if anyone does it these days. I really don't know.
Because a lot of the systems aren't integrated, if they were to do it, it would have to be a developer sitting there programming it in for that specific landing page.
I've never seen it before.
It wouldn't be automated. Yeah.
Look, I've never seen it before. I don't think. Well, certainly given the experience we know exists in the finance place, then we can safely say that you won't experience that anywhere else. And in a world where you look for incremental improvements in your conversion rates, right? The conversion rate optimization is something that it's the holy grail, right? You're looking to convert as many people as you possibly can through the marketing funnel, the marketing experience. I'll come to talk about that in just a moment. In a world where you make these tiny little incremental improvements to double the conversions, right? Conservatively double the conversions on the basis of just that early funnel excursion. That is huge. That is mammoth. But you can easily multiply the conversions from that point on by demonstrating the principles of EAT and actually providing with a real excursion, a real journey, a real immersive experience throughout that early part of the Sonata sequence, which is the early email model, and those first emails that you send people, of which this is one. This is one. So unlike other videos where we're saying you can do this, you can do this, you can do this in your own business, unfortunately, this is one of those cases where we're saying this is what you should be doing, but it's only our system that will provide that functionality. But if you're handy with a little bit of code, you might be able to whip something up, perhaps. So that leads us on just to a few other conditional features, and we'll just talk about it briefly. I did say before that you can subscribe to the Finance Marketing Guide from the front page of our website or any number of locations throughout our website. Once somebody has downloaded that manual, again, we want to escalate them. Now, according to Google, somebody will visit your website 9 times before they become a customer. Right, that's a lot, up to 9 times. And Domenico and I had to, look over that number a few times because it sounded high. But then when we talked about our own experience, we appreciated that is probably close to being correct. So people do come back to your website repeatedly, which makes our conditional content and conditional escalation features all the more important because it crafts your website, which we talk about as being the chameleon of the website world. We introduced that when we talked about the website a few videos ago, I think. And it crafts the website into an experience that is designed specifically for the user that is visiting your website. Now, that applies to the form escalation. If somebody downloads something, a lead magnet, a book, whatever, subscribes to something, we don't, I say necessarily want to show them that same form again, but the necessarily word is somewhat obsolete. We don't want to show them that same form again because that negates the functionality or escalation advantage based on providing a new lead magnet. We can dig them deeper into the marketing funnel, demonstrate our expertise, authoritativeness, and our product suite in a new and a different way by giving them a new document to download.
Especially if it's part of an education sequence where the second document builds on the knowledge that the first lead magnet has provided to the customer. And if you do third and fourth and just keep building it up so they can see the expertise, they can obtain something physical and read it and understand more and more about what you're about and what your knowledge is like.
Yeah. So again, guys, escalation of commitment, it is the underlying, it's one of we've got a very different marketing philosophy than you're probably familiar with, and our ideology is somewhat disconnected from what is or what might be considered to be a standard, and that's because the standard that I don't need to go into, but the standard that is applied now is one that applied 24 years ago when we were first building these systems. It just hasn't changed. So unfortunately, digital is not evolved, and what we're describing now is not rocket science. Like it's just we've designed this in an integrated manner to take advantage of what we understand of human behavior and what we know converts and what we know will get you better results. And that's just a conversion. That's just the website conversion, the subscription. It doesn't take into account the extraordinary experience someone has once they're in the funnel, or the automation that takes place and so on, on the back end. So it's a really good feature set. Now, is there anything else that we should be talking about there with regard to those conditional redirects that apply just on the basis of a form subscription? It's such a small component. Although, and I do make mention of this in the book, the subscription form is a conduit, right? It connects any online object or asset, any marketing asset, to your marketing funnel. It's responsible for ingesting people into that experience. So it has to be good. And keep in mind, right, if we escalate someone to another form, they will not be required to add their name and email again into a form because we already know that. We generally do provide those fields that are pre-populated with their name and email because it's saved in cookie and session, but they can change that if they want, which is not such a bad thing because we record that change. So we're able to learn a little bit more about them on the basis of an email change.
And especially as, the names have become a bit more genuine the further they become into the experience. Is one thing we have seen occur.
It happens all the time. Someone gives a very phony name and the phone number is 0412-345-678. And sure enough, that turns into a real phone number by, email 5 or 6. And you go, okay, And you always bring it up. I always bring it up with people. So your phone number is not 0412-34. It's yeah. I guess the very last thing we should say is that conditional redirect is measured. So it's applied to our statistical engine. So we know, obviously, we can break up the conversions as you would expect in different ways. We know how effective different conversion pages are and so on. For very advanced, what?
Yeah, I was going to say very advanced, but we also do split testing on the pages.
Yeah.
And even though it's beyond the scope of this particular video, it would be good to actually mention that we do provide it, yeah.
Yeah, so you can make 3 or 4 calendar landing pages that are applied as a second page, 3 or 4 phone landing pages, and 2 or 3, or 4 or 5 or 6, probably the most important pages that apply those, the page that is assigned to email subscribers only, those people that don't commit. And then you can measure the conversion off those. But that is, again, an advanced sequence. But the system handles that. It supports that feature. So if you want to use it, you can. We do not. All right? We occasionally split 1 or 2 pages, but we wouldn't split a second page phone subscriber or a calendar subscriber page, just unless we were experimenting, I guess, with the technology. But we'd certainly split email subscriber pages. That's actually quite important because we need to develop that group of people into something.
The first 2 options have resulted in a contact. We've got a calendar, we've got a phone number, so we're going to make contact. The third option is still in the grey area, which is why you want to fine-tune it.
That's right. And just once again, that does lead into the marketing funnel. It's not a sales funnel. It's not a linear transactional sales funnel. It's not salesy. And we've got some amazingly bad examples of email sequences that are floating around the market. Some are made by, some of those people that might consider themselves our competitors out in the market. They put them in Word documents and have people copy them into MailChimp and all sorts of dumb stuff. But we kind of make those available. We de-identify them and say this is what your competition is using, so this is what you're up against, just to reassure people and I guess highlight the fact that what they're doing is just so much more persuasive and powerful and superior. So that's that. Have you got anything else to say? No. We hope you've enjoyed this little video. Guys, if you do want to talk to us, 1300-235-433, that's 1300-BELIEF. We're available almost 24 hours a day. If you do get voicemail, please just leave a message and somebody will see that message very, very quickly. And if you do call at 2 o'clock in the morning, please leave a time that you are available. Because if you call at 2, we don't want you. We wouldn't call you at 4 a.m. But if you said I'm going to be available until 5 a.m, we might give it a go. Sometimes we'll send a text message or something before we call just to make sure it's suitable.
Especially if we get that grey area of 4 a.m. where they could be going to bed or just getting up, so we don't know which one it is.
But we always have someone manning the office virtually 24 hours a day. In fact, most occasions 24 hours a day. 1300 235 433. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.
Goodbye.